Hey everybody, welcome back to the Fish Tank. I'm Fish, and today we're going to be talking about a really important mechanic in Minion Masters. That is summoning sickness. Now, summoning sickness is something that's not, I don't think, very well covered through the game tutorial. It's not something that's obvious, but it's really, really important. Whether you're a new player or an experienced player, it's a key mechanic to understand, because at its root, this game is all about being mana efficient with your trades, and understanding summoning sickness and playing around it and playing with it in mind can make you way more mana efficient than you were before. But what is summoning sickness? Well, when you place a minion, not all minions, and we'll cover the exceptions in a minute, but most minions, they will have 1 second of summoning sickness. So what that means is after you've placed it, for a second, they cannot move and they cannot attack. But they are crucially targetable. So they're in a state where they are open to attack. They are very vulnerable for that first second. Now, one thing to note is that whilst the minion has this summoning sickness for a second, the minion abilities do not. And when we talk about abilities, we're talking about things like the Defenso Chopper with its return damage, or the Musketeer with its riposte, or any taunts. So basically, as soon as you spawn a minion, any of these abilities are immediately activated. So they are separate from the summoning sickness. Now, there are a few things that don't have summoning sickness, and these have a special keyword. They have the rush keyword. And what that means is they don't have any summoning sickness. As soon as you spawn them, they are straight away moving or attacking as appropriate. So one of the examples of a rush minion is the Screaming Scrat. As soon as you play it, it's immediately running. But the minions that have rush are very few and far between. So generally, all minions suffer from summoning sickness. Even Setsu, when you jump her into the field with her blast entry, she has summoning sickness when she lands. And it feels like that summoning sickness is not a full second, because it feels really quick. But why is that important? Well, what happens is, whilst the unit is within its summoning sickness, it hasn't chosen a target yet. So if you react quickly, and normally this is kind of irrelevant because you can't place minions on top of something that has summoning sickness, because generally summoning sickness units are in their own side of the field, since you can generally only place minions there. But Setsu, for example, you can jump her into your opponent's side of the field. So when she lands, there's a very small period of time before she picks a target, and that's crucial when you're trying to defend against her. So if she's trying to jump and attack your tower, if you're quick and you place your units correctly, you can make her aggro the unit of choice. But you've got to be quick, and that's kind of a high skill part of the game. But that is summoning sickness, but what is the point of it? Why does it exist? Well, summoning sickness is designed to be a disadvantage for the defender, and therefore an advantage for the attacker. But why does the defender need a disadvantage? Well, when you're defending, you have your master's attack, your master DPS, your master's defense, and that's a huge bonus for the defender. So the defender's already in a strong position. So this is designed to make defending more difficult and to give a bit of an advantage to the attacker. So the defender has the advantage in the masters, whereas the attacker has the advantage with the summoning sickness negatively affecting the defender. So that gives you an idea of what it is and why it exists. So what we're going to do now is just look at a couple of examples to see how placing minions with summoning sickness in mind and how placing them differently can have a huge impact on the outcome of minion versus minion trades. Okay, let's look at an example. So on the left, we've got a couple of succubuses. No summoning sickness involved, so they'll meet, they'll attack, and they'll kill each other at exactly the same time as you would expect. Now, on the right, we have an already spawned succubus, and then we're going to spawn a second one into it. So the blue one has summoning sickness, and because of that delay, ends up dying to the succubus. So you can see there an example of the same interaction, but one placed with summoning sickness in mind, one without, and you can see a completely different outcome. Now we see the Whirly Scrat against the Skeleton Horde. On the left, you can see the Whirly Scrat spawned directly into the skeleton horde, takes a bunch of damage whilst in summoning sickness and then kills. And then on the right we see the Whirly Scratch spawned away from the skellies so it can activate, get through the summoning sickness, and you can see although it takes a bit longer to kill the skeletons, it does take 0 damage from them. So a big difference in those two situations just through unit placement. This example shows a cleaver against a musketeer. Now remember, abilities don't suffer from summoning sickness. So here we can see we place the musketeer. It is within summoning sickness, but his riposte ability is immediately active. So you can spawn in this situation and ignore the summoning sickness. And that is Summoning Sickness explained. So hopefully just understanding this simple mechanic will allow you to take your gameplay to the next level, to be more mana efficient, and ultimately to trade better on the game and win more matches. That's ultimately what we want to do. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully it was helpful. Let me know in the comments, were you new to the concept of Summoning Sickness? Was this something you already knew about? Always happy to answer any questions you've got, so give me a shout in the comments if you want to. As always, if you're enjoying the content here in the fish tank, make sure you hit the subscribe button to make sure you don't miss out on any of the Minion Masters news. I'm Bad as a Fish, and as always, I'm awkwardly waving.